Hello, my dear students. Hope all of you are in good health. Welcome to my English class. Today, we will get to know a beautiful poem of William Wordsworth, Lines Written in Early Spring. It is included in the first unit of your 10th standard course book. Before that, I just want you to watch this video. Did you notice anything particular in this video? Yes, we saw images of animal cruelty, deforestation, pollution, poaching, war and poverty. I showed this video because it has great relevance to the theme of the poem that I am going to explain now. Likewise, the great romantic and nature poet feels terrible about the man's dealing with nature. Wordsworth is talking about man's destruction of nature. Wordsworth was a great romantic nature poet. He considered nature as a living thing, God, teacher, and everything. He became the poet laureate in 1843. His famous works are Daffodils, Lucy Gray, The Prelude, etc. The poem, Lines Written Early Spring, is a landscape poem. It is largely concerned with nature. This poem praises the glory of nature. The poet emphasizes his view that man is a part of nature and he has to understand what nature is for him to make him happy. Being a great lover of nature, he laments over the cruelties of man in this poem. Let me recite the poem. Lines Written in Early Spring by William Wordsworth. I heard 1,000 blended notes while in a grove I sate reclined, in that sweet mood when pleasant thoughts bring sad thoughts to the mind. To her fair works did nature link the human soul that through me ran, and much it grieved my heart to think what man has made of man. Through primrose tubs in that green bower, the periwinkle trailed its wreaths, and it's my faith that every flower enjoys the air it breathes. The birds around me hopped and played, their thoughts I cannot measure, but the least motion which they made, it seemed a thrill of pleasure. The budding twigs spread out their fan to catch the breezy air, and I must think, do all I can, that there was pleasure there. If this belief from heaven be sent, if such be nature's holy plan, have I not reason to lament what man has made of man? Lines written in early spring. I heard 1,000 blended notes, while in a grove I sat reclined. In that sweet mood, when pleasant thoughts bring sad thoughts to the mind. This is grove. Blended means mixed. Sate means to satisfy a desire. And the meaning of recline is to sit in a relaxed way. Okay, now we'll explain the poem stanza-wise. Wordsworth sits in a small woodland grove and listens to the bird song around him. He is very happy and in a sweet mood. But suddenly some sad thoughts come to his mind. Why does he become sad? That's what we are going to see in the coming stanzas. To her fair works did nature link the human soul that through me ran, and much it grieved my heart to think what man has made of man. This is called deforestation, and the meaning of grieve is feel intense sorrow. The second stanza, we can see that the poet takes a moment to state that nature is linked to humanity through the very idea of a soul. Nature's soul is not different from humanity. It's man's natural state to be close to nature. Okay, it's man's natural state to be close to nature. But humans create disharmony among themselves and destroy nature. That is what he means by what man has made of man. This is the refrain of the poem, that is what man has made of man. Through primrose tubs in that green bower, the periwinkle trailed its wreaths, and it's my faith that every flower enjoys the air it breathes. The meaning of tubs is bunch, trail is dew. Wreaths means an arrangement of flowers, leaves or stems. This is an example for primrose and this is periwinkle. In the third stanza, Wordsworth admires the flowers, the primrose, the blue of the periwinkle, the greenness of the woodland area in which he sits. Periwinkle and primrose grow and exist in an intertwined way. Every flower, plant and birds enjoy the air it breathes. The birds around me hopped and played. Their thoughts I cannot measure. But the least motion which they made, it seemed a thrill of pleasure. A bird hopping. In the next stanza, the poet says that the birds hopped and played around him. He cannot measure or imagine how much pleasure they had. Their silly movement gave him a thrill of pleasure. He looked more closely towards the birds, flowers and other creatures, and he was skeptical whether they were really happy. But in the end, he was sure about it. The budding twigs spread out their fan to catch the breezy air, and I must think, do all I can, that there was pleasure there. You can see the budding twigs here. The birds and twigs on the trees seem to exist in a world of pleasure. At least Wordsworth decides he must tell himself that this is so. This is the way nature is, and nature, in being the work of God, is like this for a reason. If this belief from heaven be sent, if such be nature's holy plan, have I not reason to lament what man has made of man? Here we can see the beautiful nature, and the meaning of lament is a passionate expression of sorrow. Wordsworth ends by reasserting his lament that what man has made of man. He says that nature's holy plan is that everything in nature should coexist. Okay, everything in nature should coexist. Man and nature are soul connected and strongly associated. But the problem is that man breaks this holy plan by creating troubles among his own kind and devastating nature. He concludes the poem by telling that, being a member of the mankind, he should lament on the wrongdoings of his fellow men. The rhyme scheme of the poem is AB, AB. Now we can move on to the figures of speech used in the poem. The poet uses images, alliteration, personification. Poetic devices. Personification. The attribution of a personal nature to something non-human is called personification. Examples are the budding twigs catch the breezy air, her fair works, periwinkle trailed its wreath, flower enjoys the air. The examples were imagery, visual image, the birds around me hopped and played, the auditory image, blended notes, and the tactile image, breezy air. Alliteration, the occurrence of the same letter or sound at the beginning of adjacent or closely connected words in the same line. Examples, man has made of man, much it grieved my heart. Now we live in the age of COVID-19. 2 months of lockdown have shown us that how nature can go back to its old self. Rivers are cleaner, air is cleaner, animals and birds live peacefully. So we must know that we must live in harmony with nature. Nature is for all living beings. Life is impossible and incomplete without nature. So we must live in tune with nature, and it is our duty to protect our nature. Now you have already listened to my explanation. Now go through the questions in the poem and try to find out the answers, and also write an appreciation of the poem. Okay, I think everything is clear. Thank you for watching my class.